Before we begin our story, let us go back 300 years to the late 1600s. In those years, one of the most famous men in the world was Captain William Kidd. Captain William was a pirate. He sailed the seas, capturing any ships he found. Also, he hid his money in different places. Captain William was captured by the English in Boston, Massachusetts, and executed in the year 1701. At that time, people all over the world searched in many places for Captain Kidd's stolen money. People who live in Massachusetts believe Captain Kidd buried some of his treasure under a big tree. The story said that this treasure was protected by the devil himself, who was a good friend of Captain Kidd. 300 years later, a man named Tom Walker lived near this place. Tom Walker was a not pleasant man. He loved only one thing: money. There was only one person worse than Tom. That was his wife. He also loved money. These two were so hungry for money that they even stole things from each other. One day, Tom Walker was returning home through a dark forest. He walked slowly and carefully so that he would not fall into a pool of mud. At last, he reached a piece of dry ground. Tom sat down on a tree that had fallen, and he dug into the earth with a stick. He knew the story that Indians had killed prisoners there as sacrifices to the devil. But this did not trouble him. The only devil Tom was afraid of was his wife. Suddenly, he saw a giant sitting on a broken tree. Tom had never seen such a man. He wore the clothes of an Indian. His skin was almost black and covered with ashes. His eyes were big and red, and his black hair stood up from his head. He carried a large axe. The giant asked, "What are you doing on my land?" But Tom Walker was not afraid, and he answered, "What do you mean? This land belongs to Mrs. Peabody." The strange man laughed and pointed to the tall trees Tom saw. That one of the trees had been cut by an ox. Tom told the man that he had no right to cut Mr. Peabody's trees. The stranger laughed and said, "I have every right to cut these trees. This land belonged to me." Tom Walker now knew that the giant was the devil himself, but he was still not afraid. The giant said Captain Kidd had buried great treasures under the trees, but nobody could have them unless the giant permitted. He said Tom could have these treasures, but Tom had to agree to give the giant what he demanded. Tom Walker loved money as much as he loved life, but he asked for time to think. Tom went home and he told his wife what had happened. She wanted Captain Kidd's treasure. She urged him to give the devil what he wanted. Tom said no. At last, Mrs. Walker decided to do what Tom refused to do. She put all her silver in a large piece of cloth and went to see the dark giant.
Tom decided to go to the place where he had met the giant, and he saw his wife's cloth hanging in a tree. He was happy because he wanted to get her silver. But when he opened the cloth, there was no silver in it, only a human heart. Tom was sorry he lost his silver, but not sorry he lost his wife. One night, Tom Walker met the giant and offered his soul in exchange for Captain Kidd's treasure. But the giant wanted Tom to buy a ship and bring slaves to America. However, Tom refused to do that. So the devil then said that his second most important work was lending money. The man who did this work for the devil forced poor people who borrowed money to pay back much more than they had received. Tom said he would like this kind of work, so the devil gave him the Captain Kidd's treasure. After that, Tom Walker became the richest man in Boston. And when people were not able to pay him, he took away their farms, their horses, and their houses. As he got older and richer, Tom began to worry what would happen when he died, since he had promised his soul to the devil. So he decided to become very religious. He went to church every week, and he thought that if he prayed enough, he would escape from the devil. One day, Tom took the land of a man who had borrowed money. The poor man asked for more time to pay. "Please, do not destroy me," he said. "You have already taken all my money." Tom got angry and started to shout, "Let the devil take me if I have taken any money from you." So he heard a noise and opened the door. There was a black giant holding a black horse. The giant said, "Tom, I have come for you." He picked up Tom and put him on the horse. Then he hit the horse, which disappeared together with Tom. Finally, after Tom Walker disappeared, the government decided to take Tom's property, but there was nothing to take, since all the papers which showed that Tom owned land and houses were burned to ashes. And then nobody saw Tom Walker again. And this is for everyone who is watching this video. Remember, greed can corrupt people's souls.